if you are working as a consultant or in any type of agency, or as a project manager, product owner, you are very likely to be working in different kind of projects, either with external clients or internal stakeholders, or both. But basically you would work with different people who have different agendas, and sometimes those projects can go as smoothly as in a project management textbook. Everything goes on time, everyone collaborates and communicates openly and honestly, and there is no project scope creep. And I am laughing a little bit because I've been working on as a project manager in Salesforce consulting, and before that on the intersection of tech and sales as a customer success manager for the past 6 years. And that's very rare. That usually happens in textbook. What usually happens is that there is some form of friction, and that's absolutely normal. So today I would like to share one of my key learnings from how to handle so-called difficult clients or difficult stakeholders. So I hope that's something that you will find helpful. Okay, so my key principles here are, and how I approach work, and how I really recommend that you do too. I mean, you do you, but I recommend it, is to apply these 2 principles. First one is assuming good intentions of the other person. Even if, the other party is acting in a way that we find it hard to understand, it's pretty safe to say that the majority of people have good intentions, right? They also want this project to succeed. They also want this collaboration to be smooth, right? If you are dreading having a conversation with them, there's a high chance that they do it too, and they both want to change something. So I always try to assume good intention and try to emphasize with this other person, and that also impacts how we show up. Because if we show up to a call being like, oh, they just are so difficult, then you will show up completely differently than if you are, okay, the cooperation isn't as I would like it to be, but I know we can figure something out together. It's completely different way how you also approach it. So that's the first rule, what did I say? Principle that I apply, assuming good intention. The second principle is cleaning up your side of the street first. So before you make assumptions about the other person, look what you could have done better. Where have you not communicated things properly? Where have you overpromised? Where have you done something that you could improve? And again, it doesn't mean that you are a good or bad person. It just means that, okay, I'm also learning. Every project is an opportunity to learn. What could I have done better to improve the situation, right? So looking at what you could have improved as well. So assuming this responsibility. So these are these 2 core principles. And if I was working with a so-called difficult client, the first thing that I would do is take a step back and reflect what makes this collaboration difficult. So really getting curious of what is it that is not working well for you. Is it that the client is unresponsive and they promise to send you some materials and then they run away and ghosted you for a long time? Or is it that they are pushing deadlines and have this culture of urgency that they didn't tell you before? Or is it that they are straight up rude and disrespectful to you? Or, so many other things that could be there, but you really have to be curious of what is the thing that you would like to improve, because otherwise, how can you approach it if you don't know what it is? So really being specific about what is it that you would like to improve in this cooperation, what is not working, and taking a step back and thinking how to approach this, right? So this conflict, or this way of running this project that is not ideal, will not magically disappear, right? So it has to be addressed somehow. And that's where, you can wait for your client or other stakeholders to address them themselves. But that's not my favorite way of working. I would prefer to start where if I am being bothered, then it's on me, it's my responsibility to say something. And how to make it a success, and how to not add more olive oil to the fire, like how to not make this situation escalate. Because I know that this is the thing, like, okay, this is annoying, I know I should say something, but how should I say, like, what should I say? Or so a couple of tips on what can you do. So let's say that this difficulty with a client is that they are unresponsive, right? So this is an example that I've seen more than a couple of times in my Salesforce consulting practice, that we will, in the beginning of the project, we will send this client, we would call it like a data dictionary. So basically this was this big Excel file where we would ask the clients to give us information about what fields do they need, how they structure their data, because Salesforce, when you look at it, it's actually like a huge database of your client information, in a sense. How to, what are the security layers that we need to, and permissions that we need to apply. So we needed a lot of information from the client in order for us to start building the solution. And some clients just did it in 1 or 2 days, bam, done, and we can focus on doing our work. But very often clients would be overwhelmed by this, or they would promise they will finish up this file, but they wouldn't. So the deadlines would be postponed, and the project will be delayed, and and all of that. So what you can do when a situation like this arises, you see it, okay, so this is the situation that is not ideal. So the client is ghosting me. So is not replying. And this is where getting this principle of assuming best intention comes into play. So this is your observation, right? That's a fact. The client, you have sent this file, let's say a week ago, and the client hasn't come back. You sent 1 or 2 follow-up emails, the client hasn't responded. Okay? So this is a fact. There is no judgment here. Like when I said client ghosted me, there was a judgment. But when I said I sent them the file and I sent them a follow-up and they haven't responded to anything, to any of those emails, this is a fact. There is no judgment here. This is what happened. This is your observation. So here is where this assuming good intention comes. And okay, so if I was a person who wants this project to succeed and I got this file and I didn't respond for a week, what's something why could this be a fact? Is it because I got overwhelmed? Is it because I don't know how to fill out this file? Is this because I would have to do it manually and this takes a lot of time and I'm already under so much pressure? Like, what could be the reason that I'm not doing it, that the client is not doing it? And there goes this cleaning your side of the street, because maybe you're you would think that, oh, maybe that's because I just sent them this file without any onboarding, without any introduction, how to fill this out. Maybe they don't know what a lead is or what an opportunity is, or this is like a Salesforce lingo. Maybe that's misleading. So how can I make it easier for them, right? So when you approach this conversation of how to improve it, this is how you would approach it, right? So instead of using this judgmental language, like you ghosted me, you are not caring about this project, or whatever lingo you would use depending on how formal this relationship is, you would say, you would focus on this. The best way to do it would be to focus on this observation, like, hey, I noticed that I sent you this file a week ago and sent you a follow-up and I haven't received a reply from you. Do you need any help from me? Would you prefer us to go through it on a call? Do you need some extra support from my side? Because this is important that we fill out this file so that we can move forward with the project without delays. So I would really like us to find a way to solve it and be curious, right? That's another thing, that when you are approaching those conversations and you have this way that this, of course, it's important to know how would you like it to look, the end effect to look like, the cooperation to look like, but also not being so rigid in your ways that you have to fill it out, you have to do this, you have to do this, and really being more curious. So the success of this conversation isn't that you have it your way or highway. The success is that you have this conversation and you look for the way together to solve this issue without being judgmental. So again, it's much easier to have those conversations earlier on in the process because the resentment hasn't yet piled up, but it's great to have this conversation at whatever point that you are in the project. So obviously it's the easiest in the beginning, and that's where having a good kickoff meeting is crucial, where you actually set expectations for both of the parties. How will you work together? But having this contracting conversation even later in the project, when you see something is not working well, it's also a great idea. I've made an entire video here on this YouTube channel about how to run retrospective meetings. So this could be also like a great way. So if you are having a project and you have crossed a certain milestone, you can say, hey, we've reached this milestone, and I think it would be a great time to really review how have we been collaborating together to see if there are any things that we can improve, and really approaching it from this place of curiosity and flexibility. And that would be my main takeaways to get you started on this topic. Of course, it's just an introduction, so if you have any specific cases that you would like me to cover or anything else that you would like to add, please let me know, and I would do my best to include it in some next YouTube video. You can also join and you can subscribe so that you never miss a new video, and you can also sign up to my newsletter. I've created a free masterclass, How to Succeed in Your New Salesforce Role, 5 strategies, where I also talk about how to be a better communicator and how to manage your workload better. So you can also sign up. I will share the link in the video description, and I wish you a good day. You've got this, and chat soon.